kasar and all of that, and he was impressed. So he goes home, and his son was with him. So he goes to home and tell his wife that, get me food. She said, well, you went to visit the king, and you were invited for a dinner, and you come in and asking for food here. He says, yeah, I'm not supposed to eat too much food there. I want to impress the king. So, he appointed me imam. I don't want to eat in front of him that much. So his son from the other room called, and he says, Dad, also redo your Isha, because that was not for Allah, that was also for the king. So, this is the problem when disease is in the heart. Which way we're going, we need to know. So those were the two verses, and then the next two verses. أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق ويجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت والله محيط بالكافرين يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم إن الله على كل شيء قدير. So Allah says that, He sends down rain from the sama, from the sky. I'm sorry, and not rain. He says that this, when I send down the rain from the sky, so what does that mean? He says, he didn't say anzalna. Many places he says anzalna min al-mai, anzalna min al-samai. He says, I have, let me give you the exact, or like a rainstorm from the sky. O kasayibun min as-sama. So one of the things I wanted to address before I go into further detail is that what does sama mean? In Arabic, sama is anything which is above. It doesn't have to be sky. Sky is used for sky, but it's anything. So for us, this could be sama. Okay, if there is a basement, then this will become their sama. So anything above you can be considered sama. And Allah says in other places, and which will come, that there are 7 heavens, and the first heaven is lit. He says, I have, so to speak, ornament with the stars and everything. This is just the first heaven he's talking about. And then there are 7 heavens, and then he says, and his arsh is encompassing everything. So this is one of the ayat which is, which will come and we will talk more, but this is basically mutashabiha. So it's better to not go into too much explanation. That's another disease we have nowadays, that we want to try to explain every single thing. And there was one person at the time of the Umar, and he would always go and argue with people about mutashabiha. Well, what does this ayah mean? What does this verse mean? What does sama mean? Allah says he went and he, Summa stawa al-arsh, that he went and, he sat on his throne. What does that mean? So people didn't know, so they pointed him to, so he would argue all the time. So they pointed him to Hazrat Umar. So he goes and he asks him, and he says, come. He comes near him, so he slaps him or he punches him on his head. He said, do you understand now? He says, I know. So sometimes, these things are, there are no need if you don't understand. Again, it goes back to the same point. We need to be convinced here. Okay, and then it's a very short time we have here on the earth, and Allah will show us everything. So there's no need to hurry. He will show us everything in detail. We will find out soon. It's not that long, because His time is either 1,000 or 50,000, of our years, which is one day over there. Which means even if it is 1,000, even if it's 1,000 years of us one day over there, it means when one day goes by, there are at least 10 to 12 generations go by on that. So, there's really no time comparison. Okay, so if you've read biology, if you ever read about bacteria, when they multiply, it's a matter of hours. And you all know, you get sick, and you're fine in the morning, and by afternoon your throat is scratching now, and by the evening you're worse, and next day you read. So these bacteria are multiplying. So this is it. treatment for most of the time for viruses and bacteria. You know, it takes 5, maybe 10 days, you'll be fine. Because what happens is there is one principle, once bacteria colony grows to a certain extent, once they cross the limit, they actually produce poison which kills themselves. They start killing off themselves. So there is a limit. So what I'm trying to say is that time is just a relative thing. So it's, you know, we don't need to rush it. We just have to wait and trust that, you know, He'll show us everything sooner or later. So, I'm sorry, last time, give me 1 second. I think I went back to around. Okay, so here we go. So the last portion which I was reading, or it is like a rainstorm from the sky carrying darkness, thunder and lightning. They thrust their fingers in their ear against the thunderclaps for the fear of death, and Allah encompasses the disbelievers, and the lightning all but snatches away their eyes. Every time a flash gives them light, they walk by, and when the darkness grows upon them, they stand still. And if Allah will, He would certainly take away their hearing, their eyes. Surely Allah is powerful over everything. So again, this is a parable, and we all must have experienced this once in our lifetime, that you've seen a really dark thunder, especially in Texas. You know, it's not uncommon when the tornado comes, or when, so that, you know, the darkness is so much, and then you see the light, and you walk a little bit, or you see something, and then it goes away. So Allah is using just that parable again, that there was this light, and it gives them way, but they lose it. Because they themselves, it's not Allah, it's that themselves they are doing it.